Today in It's Worse Than You Ever Could Have Imagined history, the new Jonestown documentary has come out, and oh my God. I'm Mal Z. I talk about death, dating, true crime, and weird pop culture stuff, so if you're a weirdo too, follow me. This fucking dork was such a monster, like literally the definition of mad with power and like drugs and whatever else. Like, he was just clearly out of his fucking mind. I've known about Jonestown forever because I come from a family of weirdos who talked about these sorts of things all the time. But for some reason, I didn't know that it actually wasn't a mass suicide. There was no sympathy for these people because everyone thought that they had murdered their children and themselves in the name of this psychotic loser here. But it was actually murder on top of that, because those who really didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid, they would inject them into the back of the neck with the poison, or some of them they would shoot. He sold these people a really nice idea of like a utopia where, you know, they could live with their families and whatever, but slowly, like cult leaders always do, isolated them from not only their families and friends, any voices of reason, but also eventually convinced them to move to Guyana in South America in the middle of the jungle. So now they're isolated even from civilization. He eventually convinced them that everyone was out to get them except for him. They called him Dad. And they trusted him. Many people wanted to leave. And in 1978, when families had started complaining about their family members who were in this cult, several of them and some news media and the congressman decided to come to Guyana and see what was going on. When they did that, it shook up the cult. It scared Jim Jones. After murdering the congressman and several of the media and other defectors who had decided to leave with them, Jim Jones called everyone into the pavilion to convince them that this was the time that they were going to all take their own lives. Over 900 people died, whether by drinking it themselves or by being injected or being shot. And then this man shot himself. There's an audio recording of this whole thing happening, which is shocking and devastating. It is a lot. The documentary plays little snippets of it, but you can find the whole audio on YouTube. Here's a couple samples.
How very much I've loved you. How very much I've tried my best to give you the good life. If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace. See, without me, life has no meaning. I'm the best friend you'll ever have. You'll regret it if you don't die. You'll regret it. Please get us some medication. It's simple, there's no convulsions with it, it's just simple, just please get it. Before it's too late, the GDF will be here. I tell you, get moving, get moving, get moving. Oh, God almighty, God almighty. You got to move. Are you going to get the medication here? You got to move. It's hard only at first. Living, you're looking at death. It only looks. Living is much, much more difficult. And they can take me and do with me whatever they want to do. I want to see you go. I don't want to see you go through this hell no more. We didn't commit suicide. We committed an act of revolutionary suicide, protesting the conditions of an inhumane world.
It's truly just so unbelievable that somebody can have this much power over other people, that people can be preyed upon in this way. But just like any other cult, if you get people at their most vulnerable and you feed them some kind of bullshit about some great life that they can have if they follow you, and especially if you are charismatic and likable, you could start a cult. I don't think it's that hard. It's just about people liking you and people being desperate enough to get away from their situations that they will follow you. Will they follow you into the jungle and feed their children poison and then poison themselves, like many of them did? You can hear it in the tapes. Many of them did do it. I don't know, but to think that this could never happen again is naive, because it could happen again. It's probably happening right now somewhere where some fucking clown is speaking to desperate people and slowly convincing them to follow him. Be careful. If you decide to listen to the tapes, be careful, because it is truly soul-shattering. It's a lot, but it's also just absolutely fascinating.